we have a 1922 International, and well, this old girl's been sitting for at least a good 30 years, I'd say. The guy I got it from, he bought some property. This truck was out there, and it had a cab on it, but the termites on it had quit holding hands, and the cab had fallen off. His neighbor was a woodworker, so he had this cab built. It hasn't been running at least a good 30 years. You can see there's some newer style plug wires on it. On the inside here, if you can get this open, you can see somebody has done sprayed it with a good old rust converter spray. They did that to the back of the frame too. I guess the back was rusted off. They added that half-inch C-channel there. That's the original rear end. I'm assuming this was like a 1-ton style pickup. And on the inside, transmission and gear shifts all here. It's got a newer style key switch that's hooked up to absolutely nothing. It don't even have terminals on the back of it. And it just turns on or off. So maybe they had some fake headlights or something on it because it was being used as yard art. She's been in yard art jail for a while. Let's see underneath the hood here we have plug wires. The plugs are not rusted off in there. They are loose. I was told the engine is supposed to be free in this one, so that's a pretty good start. It is missing the valve train cover there. I'm sure we'll have a few stuck valves on this thing. All in all, patent date 1913, and over on this side it shows you the year that the engine was made, and it's around a 1922 model. Somebody put a well, there goes the hood. Somebody started to put a new radiator hose that doesn't fit on there. Starter solenoid that's not hooked up. So, guess the first order of business is we'll find out how to put a battery on it because this is just kind of hanging here and I don't know where it goes. We'll just jump a battery, find a ground, and just jump it off the top of that starter, which may or may not work. I would say we'd check the oil, but doesn't have a dipstick. It had a float at one point, and it is broken. So we'll see if it turns over. Then we'll drain the oil and put the proper amount of oil in there. The spark plugs are not loose. It's just broke off there, and all of them look like they're on there pretty good, except for this one's not all the way down, but you can see all the rust around it. Next order of business, I guess we'll see if we got all our ignition parts in here, so if we have to order them, we can get them. We got here, I'll track down a good old screwdriver, and let's see what these points look like. Well, it's got points in there. They don't look too bad. Oh, the distributor bug's missing. Or rotor, whatever you want to call it. The points don't look too bad. They've been sanded on a timer tin. I think we can clean them up. We will have to find a rotor button there. You know what? I don't know if they had this thing running or not. Maybe they just put all this on there for... you wouldn't think they'd hook all that up just for looks, but it is missing that distributor cap in it. Looks like it's been off there a while. I don't know. We'll have to figure out how to find one of them. They may be the same as other international stuff. We at least need a distributor rotor there, but it's just an auto light, so it should be easy to find one of them. And this thing probably has quite a few miles on it because it looks like the distributor shaft thing there is wore pretty good. The starter don't look too bad. It is a little corroded down in there, but I'm gonna grab that battery, hook the battery up. We'll see if it spins over, and once we do that, we'll see what the oil looks like down in there. Some battery cables on this thing, and we're gonna see if the old starter works. I bypassed the solenoid because it wasn't even hooked up to anything except for one cable, and this one was kind of sitting on it. But cross your fingers. Huh? No. Starter might only had one turn in it. Is it the ground? Oh. There we go. Don't sound too healthy, but she works. Okay, the starter works. It does have a brush. The armature's dragging in there because it's draining a lot of good old cranking amps out of the battery. We got crankage. Well, I'm going to go ahead. We're going to change the oil, see what it looks like in this thing since she already turns over. Not sure about on valvulation yet, but they might work. See what the oil in this thing looks like. It may not have much water in it, you never know. And it may be, oil may look brand new, but I highly doubt it. Oh, look at all that. That's all water. I figured that. Every bit of that's water coming out of there. Figured since the lifter cover's been off, valve train cover, they get a whole bunch of water in them. Okay, there is no oil in it. That's just straight, well, there, you can see the water on this side and the oil on the other side, but even the oil's mostly water. That's why we always drain them. I'm gonna let this thing drain. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot in there, and we'll rinse it out with some diesel fuel because that's just nasty. So a diesel down in there, and we've let it soak for a little while, so maybe it'll get rid of the rest of that water and old oil. Well, don't look too bad. Well, I'll let that drain. We'll get back with you guys when we're throwing some more, well, some new oil in here at least. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean the points up. We got the oil in there and all that fancy stuff, so here in a minute, she should be ready to whirl over and fire up. They don't look too terrible, but there's not much material left on any of these, you can see. Like, there's hardly anything left on that set of points. This has been cranked out real far so that it still gets contact. Probably once I sand them, we may have to turn that bolt a little bit. We got them points cleaned up now, just to give them a good old spray with the good starting fluid, and they look halfway okay. I think they'll get connection. We're just gonna try this old coil and see if it works. It may not. Somebody put a condenser on there, and these wires probably 30 or so years ago, and maybe that coil works, or maybe they just did that for looks because it was missing this. I have one, and we're gonna see if it fits. Sure if this is the right distributor bug or not, because I don't remember what this came off of. It was in a pile of some parts I had. It looks like it's the same. Well, it don't really want to go on there too great. Oh, maybe I just didn't have it turned enough? There we go. It fits, but is it the same? Them need to be cleaned, but, well, the cap fits, so I think she's going to work out just fine. Let's go ahead and sand these, put this together, hook that coil wire up, and we'll spray it with a little starting fluid just at first for some fun and see if it'll hit off. And if it will, we'll put some gas to it. I have a feeling it's not going to run real good with them plugs in it, and she may not have real good compression right now, but we'll find out that. We got the distributor all hooked up, the coil wire hooked up, and the coil hooked up, so it should fire off as long as everything's working. I don't really trust that old coil, but we'll see if it works. Hold the coil wire there and see what we get. Nothing. That starter's dragging real good on the Bendix back there. Well, not the Bendix, the armature's dragging, and she's not getting any spark. So we'll pop the top off the old distributor and see if the points are getting fired. The points seem to be getting spark there. You can see them right there. Well, maybe you can. So they are getting spark, it's just not getting ignition. I'm gonna go ahead and pull these plugs out, see how bad they are. I kind of figured there'd be a plug issue, and it may just not have enough compression yet, but it should hit off that starting fluid. I don't know why that first one was so stuck in there. I can smell the starting fluid, so it's sucking it up in the intake. That one don't look too bad. That one's got a bunch of rust jammed down in it. Like a bunch of it. I think this one was probably laying in the dirt, and somebody put it in there, because I've never seen one with that much junk down in there. Nothing down in there looks too bad. I rolled it over quite a while before I pulled the plugs and stuff out to see if it would pick up, but it sure didn't. And as you can see, there's a little bit of rust here and there, but nothing too major down in there. And you guys probably can't see real good down in there. But I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna throw some of the old engine stop leak down in there, because that always seems to do the trick. And we'll put the plugs and everything back together and whirl her over, because she's getting spark at the points. I haven't checked to see if it's well, I did check, but it's getting it past the cap. Not sure if it's a strong enough spark yet, but most of the time it's a compression issue. So we'll give it about that much and about that much, and that ought to do it. I'll throw these plugs back in here, throw her all back together, get back with you guys, and we'll see if she'll fire off. Let's see. That one's probably stuck too. You can't win for losing sometimes on these valves, because they get stuck. Don't look too bad down in there though. That's the crazy part. Yeah, it's getting starting fluid to it, just ain't burning it. That one go down, that one went down. I do believe that's the only ones that were stuck. They don't look too bad now. We got the old girl thrown back together. I put the plugs in there. We got the engine stop leak and stuff. We'll whirl her over and see if she'll hit. Not too sure how much longer the old starter on this thing's gonna last, so we may have to go to hand cranking it if it don't start off here pretty quick. Lost my good old handy dandy can of starting fluid. Make sure we're actually, yep, throttle blades are open. Open that, and we'll give her a whirl now. Okay, I don't think we're getting spark. That's what it seems like. And boy, that starter's trying to give up on us. I think it hit. That starter sure is dragging. It blew a good old dirt dauber nest out of the, oh no, that's a rat nest out of the exhaust. Okay. Oh, the valve? Ah, the valves are sticking. Okay, I figured that. Probably because it's been getting rained in forever. Went ahead and put a new coil on the old girl. We put new plugs in here and all that fancy stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and, oh, you can see the ether's coming out there, so there's probably a stuck exhaust valve on that one. That may be part of our problem. I'm gonna go ahead, we'll whirl her over. I think I got the starter fixed-ish. Is at least not trying to melt the battery cables now, and let's see if we got spark. hopefully we can just do this without shocking ourselves. Got to hold this here. We should be getting sparkage. Oh, I got the ground wire off. No wonder it ain't whirling over. Not hidden. Okay, we're getting spark, pretty good spark. This battery should have a little bit more juice to it because we ain't been cranking on it with it to mess with the valves and stuff. If it doesn't, I'll wait till tomorrow. We'll charge the other one, we'll hook them up, and instead of 1,000 cranking amps, we'll have 2,000 cranking amps. And even with that starter dragging like that, it should whirl it faster. But I think she's gonna fire off for us. Maybe not. It's timing. That's what it is. The timing's not right. Let's I thought I fixed this bad boy, but I guess I didn't. So we got to go one way or the other with it. Let's go this way first. Well, have to use the good old ratchet hammer. That's probably where we want it. Now give her a whirl. Come on, old girl. Come on. Come on. The starter's still stuck. It's spitting all the PB Blaster I put down in there earlier out because the valve wouldn't give up the fight, so I just dumped probably, I don't know, half a gallon of PB Blaster in there and heat it with the torch and beat it with a screwdriver. But the old girl is gonna run. Our starter's not letting go, which is kind of concerning, but as many times as I've whirled on it and had it apart, there's probably something in there seized together. Oops. Woo. Come on, old girl. Ooh, oh, we need a new battery cable. This one, she got a little warm. It's the next day and we got a fresh battery and stuff, and the starter should be nice and cool. Hopefully it doesn't drag. I've already went through and heated all the cylinders. We'll throw the plugs back in there and we should have her running here in a minute. I tried a minute ago without heating the cylinders and she didn't want to fire. I think she's a little bit low on compression, so that extra heat in there helps this ether burn a little bit better, or burn, I guess you'd say. The timing should be where it should be, and well, she should run. The starter's about to give up on us still. It's still dragging. I've taken it out again and it shouldn't catch when it starts up maybe this time, but no guarantees. It's 100 and something years old, so it's allowed to not work all the time. Come on, old girl. There runs pretty good. See how warm she is. She's not too warm just yet. I'm gonna let her sit for a while and we're gonna see if we can run her off gas. We did make a mess of PB Blaster and it is spitting oil out of the oil pan up here. Not sure what that's about. It may, I think these sling oil instead of have an oil pump. Well, they got little slingy things on the bottom of the rod. Some of the older engines did that. And that pan gasket's probably not the best. She did get smoky there for a minute because it was burning all that stuff out of there. I think our main problem of it not wanting to run was a few stuck rings and probably all that PB Blaster and engine stop leak and other stuff I put in there to try to help it build compression. Seems like the cheat code's to heat the cylinders up with a torch, and well, we got her running. She runs pretty good. I'm gonna let her cool down and we'll probably see if we can get her to run off gas. She's missing a drive shaft, but it probably wouldn't be too hard to make one, so if she'll run off gas, we'll see if she'll drive maybe. Sometimes they catch on fire like that. Seems like we got a valve that's hanging a little. We didn't lose too much hair on that one. Let's give her another try here in a minute. That carburetor cooled down a little bit. It seems like number 3 valve's catching again. That happens, and it happens to be an intake valve, so when it fires on that one and the intake valve's open, it gets a little spicy on the outside. Boy, that's why you don't put your face over them. The bolt here, right there, came out of there at about Mach Jesus and a half and went ka-smack. We might have to do that in some type of slow motion so you all can see that. And it was threaded in there pretty doggone good. Man, that hurt. Oh, there we go. She drew a little bit of blood. I wonder how many minutes it'll take that bolt to come back to earth. So the bolt has been found. This thing flew about 17 miles from here. Okay, maybe not that far, but it went a good ways. I guess it peppered me with the rust and stuff off of there, but no big deal. We're gonna throw her back in there and give that another try. At least it didn't hit us in the eye or something. It just smacked us pretty good. I never would have thought that thing would have came out of there. I mean, it was in there pretty doggone good. Forget what size it is. I think she's a 1/2 inch. Yeah. I think it had some type of internal error there because it shouldn't have blew up that big anyway. Probably built too much fume up in there or something. But that's why you always got to be careful, because you never know when a bolt's going to fly out of there. It was leaking compression around it, so I should have known. She's back in there. Now let's give her another try. Oh, our plug wire's off of there. There we go. Okay, she gonna run. We got a valve sticking or something. She just ain't doing right. gotta say, we got her running. She's starting to get a little hot now that we ran her for a while. Well, we got the old girl running. She runs pretty good. She kind of starting to idle. Got the old girl running, and I gotta say, for setting 30 or so years, I'm not really sure how long this one's set. I'm sure it's set for at least 30 years, but for it just setting 30 years, it sure was a lot of trouble to get running. Maybe someone put that on there just for looks, or maybe somebody had it running. Who knows? But she runs good now. She'll even idle once she's warm. When she cools down, she won't idle, and sometimes you have to give her a little spray of starting fluid to get it to run off of gas. She's a little low on compression, but I gotta say she runs pretty good. She started spitting some weird oil stuff out of the transmission there, but all in all, she runs good. We got her running, and it's a neat little old truck. The starter's kind of fixed itself. It's working really good now and spinning it relatively fast. So not sure what that was about, because the starter was our biggest problem on this one. And we do have a few valves that are sticking, like I said. But thank you guys for watching. Please consider maybe leaving a like or subscribing, because we got a lot more cool cars and trucks coming to the channel. And I'll see you in the next video.